Namaste guys, when it comes to open ear buds, we dudes have rated most everything. More than a dozen open ear buds. But the SoundPeats GoFree 2 are the cheapest. Spoiler alert, one of us loves them.
Okay, we're starting with the price. It's $40. So keep that in mind for the rest of this review, and of course the links will be in the description in case you want to pick one of these or competitors up. Let's start with the superficial, the build, the comfort, the design. The case itself is very pocketable. It really reminded me of something like the Soundcore AeroFit Pro. You know, it's about the same size. It's in the medium zone, so it's not too big, but it's also not necessarily tiny, but very pocketable because of its thin shape. It also has this kind of plastic / rubberized texture, which is grippy, so that's good. It won't fall off smooth surfaces. Other than that, the advertised battery life on these is 9 hours, but you know us, we gotta test everything. And surprisingly, when we tested these, they fell well under that advertised battery life of 9 hours. Just under 6 is what we got. So keep that in mind. You know, it's not a bad number, but it's not quite what SoundPeats promises.
Alright, you get good old USB Type-C charging, no wireless, and unfortunately there's no colorblind friendly battery indicator, but one LED at the front which is colored. The case, although it's made from plastic, feels a bit rubberized, and the buds are also a mix of plastic and rubber, but we really like that the ear hooks are very flexible and comfortable as well, which we'll get to in a bit. The design is okay. The rough plastic on the case as well as the buds give it a rugged look. That SoundPeats logo is still there, a classic. And the earbuds themselves are IPX5 rated, so should be good for workouts with sweat or even in the rain.
Now in terms of comfort, you know, it's okay. You know, you feel it on the ears after a few minutes, but no problem using it with sunglasses and caps and hats and merch. As you can see, I put it on quite comfortably. Also, I think sleeping with it is pretty doable because it has very thin, you know, hooks. It's gone for these really thin rubbery hooks, so very comfortable. I think I would even not mind sleeping with it. But how does it fit? You know, if you want to move around a lot, it's still a ear hook style, so it's not gonna fall out, but it's not really the most secure feeling even for this category. So that's something to keep in mind if you're doing some vigorous workouts. But I think for runs and basic workouts, these will be fine.
Well, I thought they were quite secure, but I've also got big ears. So unless you're doing somersaults, you should be fine. These buds have not come off of my ears while doing any kind of workout or movement. Now, how can you control these? Touch. And what can you do with those touch controls? You can play, pause your music, you have volume control, track control. You can also enter pairing mode and game mode as well as your voice assistant using the touch controls. And for the Fuckman, you can do calls with these buds, and in terms of controls, you can answer hang up as well as switch calls. There is no mute, unfortunately, but the volume control does work on calls as well.
Now phone calls, let's be a true fuckman and listen to the samples about the popsicles, the icicles, and the test.
Popsicle. Ice, icicle. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
The Frigo 2 did quite well actually in the noisy canteen test. You heard a bit of the people talking and the cutlery clanging, but definitely usable. In the windy situation, it's not great. The voice would get cut out from time to time, especially when speaking softly. So doable in noisy conditions, but it's a pass for the wind. And in terms of quiet conditions, we did use them for a day or two and nobody seemed to have any complaints. So that's a positive.
Now in terms of sound, one word, bass. It's got heavy bass, especially the mid bass is very good. And these buds also support the LDAC codec.
Now in terms of sound, I do not enjoy these. I'll be very honest with you. They kind of feel cheap. They're a bit shouty. They do have a bunch of EQ presets here. They also have a personalized hearing, which they call adaptive hearing, which is kind of the wrong name. And they have a custom, how many band EQ is it? Yeah, it's a 10 band EQ, 3, 6, 9, 10. Yeah, it's a 10 band EQ. The problem with this EQ for me was, it just didn't work. I tried pulling up the treble bands and everything went out of whack. So it was not just like the treble went up. So there might be a bug they need to iron out. But overall for sound, for music, it's not a recommend from me.
The app, although pretty bare bones, has a couple of things. It has a game mode, you can do a sound test, and there's multi-point support.
So what's the catch here? Other than the sound, which we talked about, it's the quality control. SoundPeats has a history for us of buds dying. We've had times that when we pulled the buds out of the case, it wouldn't connect to our phone until we put them back into the case and took them out again. And sometimes only one bud would connect. And in addition to this, we also had other SoundPeats products that died on us. We hear this a lot in our comments as well, that people are disappointed with the quality control. And I think that is something you can expect at such a rock bottom price. You have to cut corners somewhere, and in this case, it does seem to be that often quality control is the corner that is cut. But that's that. Would you recommend them, Kevin?
Well, I quite enjoyed the week with these buds. I did a bunch of calls and they were fine. And they stayed connected to both my laptop and phone. There's also volume control, like we mentioned. They were very comfortable to wear throughout the day, and there was lekker fail bass. So for $40, these are a no-brainer pick for a gateway pair of open ear buds, for runners as well as comfortophiles alike. Speaking of couch runners, what say you, Rohan?
I think for someone who wants to experience what open earbuds can do, but doesn't want to break the bank, I'd suggest the Tozo open buds. Because even though the SoundPeats do the basics well, we've had a breakthrough for sound in the last year or so on open earbuds, and the SoundPeats don't quite show that off for me in terms of sound. The treble really betrays its price, and overall I'd recommend these to people who don't mind their music sounding tinny or use it mainly for podcasts. Otherwise, I'm Tozoing it all the way. It's $30 more, the Tozo, but it gets discounted by $20, often weird, on Amazon, one of those coupon things. So pretty much the same price. And it's not just cheap, it's innovative too. It has something no other open earbuds that we've reviewed has. It has a biaxial design, which can help you adjust the buds and direct it exactly to your ear canal, leading to most consistent sound quality and excellent comfort.
As you've come to expect from this channel, we don't accept money from companies whose products we review, because we don't believe in paid reviews and we want to be as independent as possible for you guys. So thanks a lot to you patrons and YouTube members for sponsoring us and keeping this channel going. And a special shout out to our Fuckman tier, Paula and Hunter. Thank you very, very much.
You've been Sound Cheaps.
And we've been DHRME.
Dui. Now phone calls. Let's be a true fuckman and listen to the samples about the popsicles, the icicles, and the testimonials.